buddy. I had a baby issue, not mine. I don't have kids, but I was helping out with a sick baby, and I left work a tiny bit early. So now that it's over, I'm running behind schedule. So I want to do this mindful message. This one is going to be a bit abrasive, but not in a bad way. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't mean to offend anyone. You do not have to take this advice. I'm just trying to help you out. So if at any time it pisses you off, just turn it off and go to a different video, okay? Okay, it is, why are people so resistant to changes in political parties or leaders in general? As in, why do people take it so hard when they lose? You're seeing this a lot, especially with Hollywood. If you looked at Hollywood lately, you'd think something horrific happened to America. They're not taking it well. I don't mean to belittle anyone. I just really broke it down, and these are the top 3 reasons why people come to this state and what you can perhaps do about it to get yourself in a better place. So hopefully this helps. Again, this is not like to offend anyone. Don't let it hurt your heart. Clicky away if it bothers you, okay? All right, so the number 1 reason to me why people get super hyped or upset or whatever about their candidate or their person losing, it's the belief that the opponent does not share your same values or morals. And this creates an instant sense of dread and stress. When you do not think your needs or wants will be considered or heard, you become lost in hopelessness. So how do you change this? How do you get out of this category if this is describing you or maybe someone in your life? 1, instead of believing that nothing good will come from this leader or their decisions or actions, become an active member in lawmaking in your area. Creating local changes with a new party and a new leader shows that we can all truly work together to create change. And it takes you out of a divided mentality. I think we have all these fears and we have all these voices in our head of people that are in like-minded of us or like in the same party. When this person gets in, I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen. And you get lost in this. And when you take a step back from that and you get involved in politics in your area, and granted, that's really all you really have the power to change. So local governments, even if they aren't your party or with your like-mindedness, get involved in your area. Like maybe there's a street that you really want a stoplight on. So find a way you can contribute or figure out what you have to do and start something to get that street light. Seeing that you can, and granted, some of these processes take a while because you have to go through the red tape and all that stuff. It's not that they instantly reject you. It's like you have to do steps for that kind of stuff. Don't get deterred from it. Just keep going. Actively participate in your community. If there's some kind of charity that you're on board with, like helping single parents, you can find a way to volunteer in your area. And maybe you aren't for that political party and you don't want to get involved in politics, but you can still find a way in their umbrella to help out your community. It makes you feel a part of something. It takes you away from hopelessness and gets you into activism and unity, and all those fears and phobias and other people's voices fade away when you see the truth of it, because you're there, because you meet people, because you get involved. You have your own experience, you have your own things to base stuff off of, and you might find that again, you might not think like that political leader, but you might realize that they're not so far off and they are actually doing good things. We get lost in our feelings and we don't give them credit, especially when they do well, because you're not wanting to see them do well. So you have to flip the script on that. You have to let go of the fact that you lost, the fact that you have differences of ideas, and you have to have an open mind. And that's true with everything. We don't always get our way. We don't always get what we want. We have to meet in the middle, right? So that's what this first one is all about, meeting in the middle. Or you can just straight up detox from news, social media, people in your life that talk about it, and just until you calm down, till you can figure out what is really bothering you about the whole thing. Just take a step back. Don't allow it to rule your mind and your heart and your soul and your feed. You know what I mean? Just until you can be collective about it, until you have an open mind, just sit out. It's okay to do that. All right, so the second topic is win or lose syndrome, which I called now they're going to brag for the next 4 years, or we have to hear their mouth for the next 4 years, or however long this person is in leadership. They have control of the houses. They're going to make all the laws and not listen. The fight or flight aspect, war mentality. We lost, now we got to get them back. We have to retaliate. Retaliate. I hate that word. I can never say it right. Okay, so how do you change this part of yourself? One, no one really wins or loses in leadership. At the end of the day, they represent and lead all of us, regardless who gets them in there, what their title on their card is. They usually represent everyone in leadership. So there is no winning, there is no losing. Let's take this out. Yes, you differ in opinion. Yes, you differ in red or blue parties or whatever. You have differences, but you didn't lose anything. Once you face that reality, that anchor dips a little bit. All right, so we all are Americans and we all practice our right to vote. Okay, a lot of people died for this right. At the end of the day, that's what the election process or any sense of leadership is about. It's the betterment of community and betterment of self. Betterment of community and betterment of self. The positive aspects. It's not one party leading. It's not one group leading. It's a collective leadership. There really is no one leader when you look at it. You have houses in Congress. You have other people that are in positions of power, experts that come forward with testimony. There's a collective decision. And yes, there's always someone that has the power to veto or whatever. But, they have to have really good reasons to veto it, or else it's just going to keep being brought to the table in different ways. So understanding that nobody wins or loses here. We all still have to work together. We all work together to make every law in this country, regardless of who's in the houses or who's in position of leadership. Let's take out that ignorance that one person or one group holds the power. That is not true. That's a lie we feed ourselves when we don't get the person in that we want. They can't really all run it. There's checks and balances, and there's going to be a lot of questions, and we do have people who make the decisions, and then we have people that check those decisions. So if something is really unfair or unethical, you can bring it to a judge and let them decide whether it should stay a law or not. So even if they pass something or do something in their leadership, does not necessarily mean it's going to play out. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. If we stay divided, no one will accomplish much of anything. We have to work together. There's no choice. So choose to be a peacemaker. Use words and compassion to unite thoughts and ideas. Everyone can be heard in lawmaking, passing bills, or making any changes. You get a lot further when there is respect given and shown. We have to literally break up the confrontation, the conflict, the tension in the air. When you watch these Congress things live, you can see the hatred, the animosity in the room, and this is not effective leadership. We can't be side A and side B and that's it. We are all in the gray area when it comes to making law. There can't just be Democrats making decisions. There can't just be Republicans making a decision. It is a collective. We have to work together. We have no other choice. Finding a way to do that will only make things get better. It will make more laws be passed. It will make more of a change down the road if you listen to what they're saying instead of planning the attack while they're listening, and you let it seep in, whether you agree or disagree, and just look at the logics and the facts, try to understand what their perspective is, and in your best, most peaceful way, help present what your perspective is, what your feelings are. And when you do this, put in front, before you start talking about your feelings, acknowledge, I heard you, I heard that you want this done, and I am not agreeing or disagreeing with that. Or you can say, I agree with it, but I think that this is too harsh. I hear you. I'm not shooting you down right away, but here are my thoughts. This is what I feel. Just hear me out. And then you say your piece. You have to listen when they're speaking, and they have to listen when you're speaking. It has to be a give and take of respect. So be the one that shows respect, initiates respect, and gets other people to be respectful, because that's a true change maker. That's a true leader. Somebody who can take a divided room and make it united. That's what your country, whatever you're leading needs from you. So even though you're not in the room in Congress, take that mentality. We have to work together. This is our country. We're all going to be represented, and we're all going to be heard, and choose to be the positive voice, the light version of what is going on. We all share the same country. We all need each other. Come back to the united we stand mentality. Being an advocate for unity keeps all sides heard, processed, and included. Or you can find people in the other party who is willing to listen and bring your concerns to the others in their party. Having advocates over enemies will help you accomplish your goals. So if you don't want to be out here promoting peace and you still want to get things done, make a friend. Start with a small group. Get them to hear your thoughts and be willing to take your thoughts to the group and be like, hey, I got a perspective. I want to share it. And at least get your perspective in the ring in a peaceful way. So the third, and maybe a contender for the biggest reason why people get in a funk or get upset or have a hard time processing, it is a full moon almost, and my spiritual gifts are heightened by the full moon, and my third eye is like, wah! Sorry for the stumbles. Anyway, the biggest reason is, I think it's also retrograde, feeling cheated, feeling lied to, feeling played, or there's some kind of sabotage that went on, and I call this category the Justice Crusaders. I was robbed, I was cheated, this can't be, not accepting of what is happening, finding excuses for things. So what do you do about this? You can accept that if any fraud or cheating did happen, that the United States judicial system will find out and bring the truth to light. So you can choose to sit and worry about things that may or may not have happened, or you can put trust into your party to look into it, to investigate. If they find anything, then they will prosecute, and it will go through the court system. Taking it out of your mind and putting it on the shelf and having faith in your party and your government takes a lot of that anger and stress away. Like, they're going to get caught if they did. You can choose to believe in the hardworking men and women who work the polls for a very long day, that they followed the rules and are just as serious as you are about fair voting. So all those people, when you came in and they're standing at the door and they were getting your information at the table and they were helping you vote, giving you the I voted sticker, whatever. All those people are mostly volunteers. They're there from polls opening to polls closing. They believe in this country just like you. They take it very seriously. So trust that if they saw anything funky going on, they're going to report it and say something. If you can't trust your government, at least trust those people. You can pray about it and ask whatever you believe in. If there was any corruption, that it be exposed. Get the spiritual realm involved. Be like, listen, I feel like something went down and I just need a little help. I need these people exposed because we can't have tricksters in our cabinet, or whatever you need to say to your spirituality. I find it helps. It really does. You can ask or start a poll for a recount or revote in your area. If it's passed, then you could get the opportunity to redo the whole thing in a fair way. So if you really feel like something went down in your area, you can report it. Let the local officials get involved. You can start a poll in your state or community. And if you get a set amount of signatures, you could get a recount. Let's see. Look at the evidence and do your own research. Make sure you're not buying into things that are false. There's a lot on social media. There's a lot with people, putting their opinions in, but it's not really facts. So just really investigating the numbers, like the percentages. Is it really neck and neck? Is it a landslide? Look at the state reactions. Say for example, Texas is a really giant state. If there was all this outrage, like, I voted for so-and-so, and I don't know how, we seem to have a miscount problem because most people voted for this person, but it's saying that person won. There's going to be enough of an upset in those states to draw some attention. So you can be mindful of that. That can help you get signatures to get things restarted. You do have a choice. If you got to have proof. For one, you have to be able to prove that something might have went down, as in you have, evidence of somebody coming in multiple times to vote. You can prove somebody isn't a real citizen, but they actually voted. It's not what you say, it's what you can prove in the situation. So if you can really, truly, honestly prove it, then proof is in the pudding, and you will get the reaction, especially if you can back it up. If it's just a notion or a feeling, I'm not saying you're wrong, because, there's been a lot of things that I've saw and I was like, that's fucked up. They're doing something fishy. And then 5 years later, you find out that your gut instinct was right. I get that. But I mean, what can you really do about it? What can you really change? All the control you have as a person is your own reaction and your own environment and what you are immediately in. Looking at the grand scheme of politics is very stressful. It's important to be mindful of what's going on in this country. I'm not saying just check out and not pay attention, but get more involved in your local governments, because that's where your true change comes from. You're helping immediately in your area, and it is more of a fulfilling role because you see it, you're in it, you're living it. So if you really want to get involved in politics, just have that sense to set it aside when you're done thinking about it, when you're done reading about it, when you're done doing whatever you got to do with politics, that you're able to just put it on the shelf and go back to life. You don't carry it in opinions of others. You don't talk. I think talking about politics is the worst mistake. Don't talk about politics with other people. Getting other people in your political beliefs is kind of like mixing your religion and putting your religious beliefs on the table. One, you're instantly judged, instantly labeled, and you got to hear their opinions, that which you didn't ask for. And at the end of the day, we shouldn't have opinions of other people's religion, faith, parenting, or lifestyle choices. Okay? If you are in a funk about any kind of loss as far as leadership or government, It's because you care. You really care about your country. You care about your people. You care about change. And that means you do have a big heart and you are vulnerable. And look, nobody likes when the person they don't want gets in. You know, nobody likes that. Nobody likes coming in second place. But at the end of the day, it's just 4 years of your life. And I know 4 years can create a lot of fucking shit. I've seen it. But at the end of the day, everything is going to work out in our favor. We outnumber the government by millions. So if they really fuck up really bad, it's only going to unite the rest of us. You remember guerrilla warfare? We didn't give a fuck. We started doing our own thing. And America will do that again if pushed. You know, at the end of the day, we are the true power. But we have to love each other. We have to support each other. The minute the government fares better when the people are divided. They are shitting in their pants scared of America that is united. A divided America they can control. A united America, they don't get a say at all unless America likes them. You take the power back united. You relinquish control when you're divided. Don't help them keep all the control. Take your control back by not letting it rule your life, your emotions, your thoughts, and affect your being, your wellness, your energy. These people, yes, they're remembered in history. They go down in a book, but think about all the presidents you learn about that affect your life. Do you know who really affects your life? The people who are in it. Your grandparents, your first love, your best friend. These are the people that matter. Remember that at the end of the day. It's not that serious. You are not the president of the United States. You are not the one who won or lost. Don't allow it to be in effect. You just sit with it for a minute, be like, well, that's awesome, or, well, that sucks, and just put it on the shelf and go do you, okay? And the less you let it eat at you, the less of this funk you're in. I hope this was helpful. Just remember, change is going to come, boo-boo, one way or the other. We are never going to stay in hardship, but we are also never going to stay in greatness. It's an ebb and flow, and we will get through this together and get more shit done together than we ever will divided. Divided, they have the power. United, we are the power. Divided, we are weak. Together, we are strong. If that's all you take from this, I love you guys. Signing off. Have an amazing night.